Greetings, geeks and geekeros. It is me. I am back. Talk about Supergirl. Oh boy, this episode. It was really good. I mean, I'm going to go into spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it and come back. I mean, I know I've dogged on Supergirl this season, but this episode really impressed me. Except for one small thing that I think might turn out differently than most people, but I'll get to that later. But overall, yeah, I really liked it. So going into spoilers, before I get into the recap, I just want to mention that it had a lot of great things. Like, it had what seems to be the apex, or leading up to the apex, of the Jean Marin story, which looks to be like Marin is gonna save the fucking day all by himself. Marin is gonna save the fucking day all by himself. Go Space Granddad. And then we had some emotional stuff with Wynn. Of course, we had Alex being a badass. We had Lena pulling in the science stuff. We had Sam having a role and not just as Rain. We had good stuff with Alora. Good stuff with Kara. Ruby was excellent in this episode. She was smarter than some of the adults. And it's just like every character from this season was in this episode. And we even raised the stakes by having a couple, unfortunately, deaths. But I will get into those later. Let's actually start the recap, because I could go for days about this episode. So much stuff happened. So we pick up where we last left off. The priestess, and now we find out two other priestesses, if that's how you say it, priestesses, are on Earth. And we find out that their plan is to bring back Rain and have her terraform the Earth to turn it into new Krypton. Even though just last season we had the big bad wanting to turn into New Daxam. And good friend of the show, Mr. J of Mr. J's Reviews, pointed out to me also, General Zod wanted to terraform Earth in Man of Steel. Which is funny though, because if you see the preview for next time, looks like they're also coming after something from Batman v Superman. Anyway, back to this episode. They want to do that, and so we find out that, of course, like fans theorized, the Black Kryptonite didn't kill Rain, and that wasn't Rain like dying. Rain is reborn as a separate being now, and the more Rain gains power, the more Sam will lose energy and lose life. So that's something. But the problem is that Kara and Mon-El are stuck on Argo with no ships, because apparently they decided when building the dome to get rid of every spaceship for some frickin' reason. I don't even know. Sorry, itchy ear. But they do have a transporter device that Kara's dad was working on, but it's not finished. And luckily, through working with the Legion and Brainy, Mon-El has a decent amount of alien tech knowledge, and Kara worked with her dad long enough that she knows somewhat about the stuff, and so they can feasibly together work to build it, to fix it, but it needs a receiver, so they come up with this cool way to kind of hack the Allura hologram AI thing at the DEO to inform Wynn about what's happening. Meanwhile, while this is happening, the priestesses decide, well, they don't decide, they figure out that Rain isn't powerful enough because for some reason when she was reborn, she didn't have the blood of purity and pestilence. And so they needed that, and dumb cult guy, which I'm totally blanking on his name, so I'm just going to call him Byron, because that was the name of his Pretty Little Liars character. So they just did Byron, and he spills that he knows that, for some reason he knows that DEO has blood of those two world killers on file, so they go and say, hey, give us this or we'll kill everyone. And they're like, hell no. And what ends up happening is and I feel like shitbag because I don't know his name. I think it's Vimos or Bimos. Goes out kind of heroically, and he unfortunately passes away. That is death number 1 for this episode. Then we've got they managed to trick one of the priestesses into activating the transport device. So Kara, Mon-El, and Allura, in a very awesome kind of Mon-El Kara-esque power suit, comes in to save the day. And what happens is Kara decides, hey, I'm going to be a badass, and so I'm going to give it to you, give you the blood samples, but I'm going to use my eye vision so that while they're in your hand, they will explode. But Kara, really? It seeps into her hand. Her charred hand. So she just cuts herself. It's like, boom, there's the blood. And so Rain is reborn. Meanwhile, Sam is getting worse. They finally figure out what's going on with Sam, which I already told you. And so they're like, hey, if Rain getting more powerful means Sam getting weaker, what if Sam got more powerful? Rain would be weaker. But they're like, how are we going to do that? And then Allura comes in with a myth about about a Kryptonian like tale from a priestess about 2 fountains. One could give you, I think it's one gives life and one gives death. And Rain, and they assume that Rain is getting her power from the death fountain. So if Sam were to go into the light fountain, it would help. But that means that she has to go back to the mindscape, and Brainy isn't there, so she has to go in the old-fashioned way of being zapped the crap out of her, which she does. And that's where we leave her story. And then what happens is world killers kind of sort of succeed, and Rain goes to the core with the ancient Kryptonian sword thing that is going to cause massive damage by attacking the Earth's core. And so everyone groups together and it's like, yay, we're kind of screwed, but we're going to save the day. With Sean and Marin coming back to help. Because all of this episode, they've been going on some real feely stuff, which I don't want to get into because of time and all, but do know that it was very well done. David Haywood and I'm blanking on his name now, I'm sorry. The dude who voiced John in the animated show, who now plays Marin. Both of them doing amazing acting jobs. And it was really cool, touching scenes, but I won't go into them because I've been talking for too long. But anyway, so Marin decides, like a total badass, that as his final thing, he is going to go to the Earth's core and shapeshift into the Earth. I believe that's what he said. And help stabilize the Earth as like his dying move, his final effort. And it would be to save his son's new home, which is like right in the feels. If the rest of the episode, their subplot wasn't feelsy enough, that just like, whoo. And that's basically where we end the episode. Jean doesn't want his father to do it, but he realizes that he has to. So, yeah, a lot of shit happened. A lot of shit was set up. I think we could get a Sam v. Rain fight next week, and we could get something, that we could get tons of other stuff. We had 2 deaths in this episode because I didn't talk about it because of time. But Byron, the cult leader guy, the world killers killed the lead priestess, killed him. Because it's like, yes, you did do us a favor and you did all this. But did it to preserve our world. You're not part of it, you heretic. We were just using you as a puppet. Now die. So that is our second death of the episode. And the reason why I bring this up is because I have a feeling that we are going to get a lot more death happening next episode. They used Allura a lot in this episode. They had multiple conversations with her, hinting, and they let her be comical. They let her do a lot of shit. They gave her own suit. So I think they're gearing up towards her passing away in the finale. They even cut her off from Argo, unless they use Jean's ship, which I don't even know if that's a thing now. But anyway, there was a lot of dialogue, including one that seemed to be about Carmel, and that was the thing that I was talking about earlier that kind of ticked me off. But I have a feeling that was less about pushing Carmel to being a thing and more to hint that Allura and maybe Mon-El are going to die next episode. Because I just got the strongest feeling that they're going to kill Mon-El. It's just his character arc is over. He's only there for Supergirl. He doesn't want to leave her ever again. I just have... Fans haven't always loved him. I mean, hell, I hate Carmel, but I still like him. But I just have a feeling that he's gonna die in the finale, and Mom might too. And so that would bring our total death count to at least 5, because we know Marin's gonna pass away, Byron got killed, Vimo got killed, Vimos got killed, sorry. And so, if you add Allura and Mon-El, that means 5. Then maybe Rain and Sam, or just Rain. But I have a feeling that we're going to get a lot more deaths, and that the fan theory, and that Kara's going to end up this season without Mon-El again, maybe without her mom, and Alex is gonna adopt Ruby. I've been going on for far too long. I just realized, I'm sorry. I said several times that I was not going to go on because I didn't want to be longer, but hopefully you're liking these longer videos. I mean, you seem to be. Thank you for all the views. But I will see you guys next time where we will be talking about the finale. But stay tuned to my channel because next up is Reverie and Cloak and Dagger. But that's it for now. Till next time and beyond.